Hello everyone, hope you're having a beautiful day, beautiful morning, beautiful night, wherever you are in the world. Samantha Brierico here, and I wanted to share with you today just a little bit about what I have been experiencing in the past couple weeks. So I've been feeling a little overwhelmed, anxious, a little stressed, not feeling very grounded, kind of feeling a little spaced, very unorganized. And I wanted to share with you how this kind of directly relates to the information that I had shared with you via the interviews I've done in the Live Lighter, Live Brighter series. So the first interview was with Sarah Hopkins, and she's a health coach, and we talked all about adrenals and our adrenal health. And then the second interview was with Amanda Noga, and we talked about Ayurveda and how we can use simple techniques of this ancient science and how we can use it in our day-to-day life. And I realized that both of these interviews are so, and the information from them is like directly relating to how I'm feeling at the moment and what I can use these tools to help myself feel better. So just give you a little bit more background. So before I was traveling, so I was traveling to the US to visit my family, and it was a beautiful time, and I was like spending lots of time relaxing, and I wasn't working as much. So I came from, when I got back to Australia, I was in a relaxing space, but then came back to feeling this way and coming back straight into work, hit the ground running. And also traveling has a very big impact on me because of my dosha, which I'll talk about in a little bit of time. So yeah, I was traveling from the US to Europe, back to here, across many time zones and many planes. And I know that it has a massive impact on my overall well-being. And then plus just coming back here and not really getting grounded, just kind of hitting straight in, back into teaching, back into doing my work, planning, preparing. It really kind of set me up to feel the way I'm feeling now. So I guess what I'm trying to say is no matter how much information you have, and no matter how much mindful practices you do, yoga, meditation, whatever your mindful practice is, and I do some every day, life can get hectic and you can get off balance. Like I'm feeling off balance now, I'm a little out of sorts and not feeling grounded. So the thing that I find different is that I notice when this is happening. So I notice it quicker. I have been feeling a few signs that kind of tip me off to when I'm not kind of in alignment or feeling that balance. And that usually relates to my sleep. So I've not been sleeping well for a couple weeks now, and that has a little bit to do with the travel and the jet lag. But that light sleeping where I wake in and out at night, I know that there's something off there because that's not usually how I sleep. Also my digestion, I've been bloating a lot more, like all through travel I was bloating. And even now when I'm coming back here, I can tell that my digestive system is not working in optimal. And both of those are signs that my vata is out of balance. So that's my dosha that I talked about, which Amanda Noga and I had talked about in our interview. And then also it just kind of shows that my adrenal health is not in optimal shape either. And also just feeling that little bit of space, kind of spaciness, not being able to focus as well. This also for me is a direct sign that I'm a little out of sorts. And so what I find is helpful that this is going to happen. Like life can get stressful, things happen, and we can't always control what's happening in our outer world, but we can use tools to help us come back into alignment. And that's what we talked about. That's what I've talked about in the last few interviews. And this is why I feel like this information is so important, because it really has a direct impact on how we feel in our daily life. And there's simple techniques, like it's not complex, it's just very simple things that we can do. So I'll just give you some information about what I've been doing. Let's say when I know that my vata, so my dosha is, I'm a vata pitta. So I'm kind of about 50-50. And I'm not gonna go deeply into like what's the vata, what's the pitta, because that's something that you can find out if you go to Amanda Noga's website and kind of listen into our interview. You can find out more information about that. But so some signs that I was like, okay, my vata's out of balance. And so then I know what to do. I know what to do when I feel that my vata's out of balance. I change the way I'm eating. I really make sure that I'm having more of a routine, making sure I eat breakfast, making sure that I do more yoga and more grounding practices. And there's few more things, but making sure I get like regular sleep, going to bed at a certain time. And those are really things that help me to get back into balance. And eating warm food, like food is so big. Just knowing what specific foods for your dosha is really important. And so what's happening when your Vata dosha, let's say, gets out of balance, then we're tending to use more, I use more of my adrenals than the cortisol. And this is also very much linked to how I sleep, what's happening in my digestion, and how I can focus in my daily life. So for me, the Vata dosha and my adrenals are very much interlinked. And that's why, for me, it was so important to understand more about Ayurveda for myself and also about my adrenal health. And so my top few things that I do to help with both of these things, my top one is meditation and breathing practices. This really helps to get me out of my sympathetic nervous system. And so that's when your adrenals, your fight or flight response, and to get you back into your parasympathetic nervous system. And that is your rest and digest. And that's going to help you feel more grounded, which will help you to get more focused, to get better sleep. Because if you keep doing that cortisol and then you're going to feel more tired, you're not sleeping well, then you have more coffee, which is something I do when I feel a little tired. I try to only have 1 cup a day, but sometimes if I'm not feeling optimal, I might have that 2nd cup, and that again also affects the whole cycle. So doing your meditation, doing my breathing practices is what really helps me ground. And so when I know that I'm feeling off balance, I try to do more. And I know as a mother and, working, and it's really hard to fit more in. So that's why I find those smaller chunks. And that's what I talk a lot about in my program, The Daily Dose of Slow, is about finding those little chunks of time during the day can really go a long way. So for myself, what I try to schedule in for my day is definitely having at least 5 minutes in the morning. 5 minutes in the morning, even when my son is around, I just say, hey Noah, mommy needs to meditate, go play, and I'll be out in a few minutes. And he respects that, and we've kind of got our little thing going. And then I also try to get one in during the day. So even if, especially when I'm feeling like rushing around and I can feel that little bit of anxiety, the breath shortening a little bit, I really okay, well, I need a pause here. And it could be just sitting in the car and doing a breathing practice. I find the breath is always with you. You can always count on the breath to be there for you. And so then that's equal inhale, equal exhale, I find is like a really great practice to do when you're on the go. And then ending my day with a meditation can help me get into that routine, get me ready for my sleep. And my next thing is, like I talked about earlier, but moving the body, yoga, dance, going for a walk, doing an exercise that feels good for you. But sometimes exercise, like if I do too strong exercises, that also gets me my adrenaline pumping a bit more and gets me a little off balance. So I have to be careful on what kind of type of exercises I do during this time. And again, that is directly related to my Vata dosha when that's off balance. And getting into nature. That's my top 3 there. So getting into nature, it's so important for me, especially when I'm not feeling grounded. And I'm so lucky I have this most beautiful park close to me. So I tried to get in there every day, go for a walk, sit on a bench, sit on the ground. Sometimes I get my shoes off and get my feet and hands on the earth, and it really helps to ground me. I feel calmer. So these are like my top 3 things that help me. In my interview with Sarah Hopkins, she talks a little bit more about different signs that you can kind of note to see if your adrenals are a little out of balance. And then also she has like 5 tips. So she goes into a little deeper of her tips that she suggests. So I really feel that adrenal health and just knowing your dosha can really help you. It can help you feel more balanced. It can help you feel grounded. And that, again, can translate into many different aspects in many different areas of your life. So I wanted to also share with you today that I have a free meditation in our newsletter. And I just wanted to offer that to you for being a newsletter subscriber. And I hope you really enjoy that, because I find meditation is an excellent practice to help us when we're feeling that little bit off, stressed, and anxious. So I hope you find this this video, sorry, this video helpful. And please go back if you haven't seen those videos with Sarah Hopkins and Amanda Noga. They're super helpful, lots of information, and I think they're very practical, useful tips that we can use in our day-to-day life. I wish you all the best, and I look forward to share with you soon. Take care. Bye.